$20 eBay carburetor. That was actually way off. That was just not even close at all. There we go. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be trying to get my 1987 Honda Express up and running. This was one of the first mopeds I've ever purchased. I got it for 75 bucks and it actually ran when I got it, so it was a pretty good deal. Obviously it needs to be cleaned up. I've done some work to it in the past, had it running really well, and then we had carburetor issues, and the stock carburetors on these always leak, and people want like 50 to 100 bucks for a good one. So I decided to buy this $20 eBay carburetor. I will leave a link to this in the description of the video if anybody wants to go buy that. But we're gonna get that on, see how it works. Hopefully we can get this thing started today. It's only got 1,300 miles on it, and I know it's got spark already, so we basically just got to slap this on, get it all adjusted, and try to fire this thing up. The first problem I see is that this does not line up with the intake on here. So looks like we're gonna have to drill some new holes. And the other issue is that this little bracket right here hits the carburetor, so we're gonna have to probably first let's get this out of our way, and then we'll have to mark some holes and drill some new holes in this intake, and hopefully that will work. I think it should. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. So we got a mark on this intake where we have to drill. So looks to be about right there is where we need to be, and so we have to mark that. There's really no way to get a pen in there, so what I'm gonna do is take some of this grease and stick it on the end of my WD-40 stick and just get like a little glob on there. And now what I'm gonna do is get this on, get it lined up. I'll poke it in there and hopefully some will stick on there. Better do the other side quick too. Okay, let's see. So that kind of worked. Looks like we're actually pretty close. We got to come up on this hole a little bit, and then this one kind of up there, I think. So I think what we'll do is just start drilling and see what happens, I guess, because that didn't really work. Just made a mess actually. Let me just eyeball this one more time. So that first hole needs to be up and into the middle a little bit. So before we do this, we should probably tape that off actually. And now it won't stick because we just put grease on it. Great. Okay, let's do this. I'm thinking like right about there. So we got one hole. One hole down. Let's see if that lines up good. That was actually way off. That was just not even close at all. Looks like we actually just need to go in of the other hole. Well, that was a fail. We're gonna have to drill a new hole. That's why they say measure twice, drill once, right? I think it's more like right here. Great, so now we're gonna have one big hole. Okay, just screwing up this manifold. It's all right though. Let's see. That looks like it lines up now. Okay, it's actually looking pretty close. We just gotta drill out this hole a little bit to make it a little bit more on the inside. Okay, that looks good. Now there's one other small issue, and that is on the back side. If we try to stick a bolt through, it actually hits the intake. So I'm gonna run over and get some super long bolts that are probably double this size, and that way we'll just like run them into like right there, and then it'll just get stopped by the intake. This side should be fine. That should work just fine, but this other side, I need a longer bolt. Okay guys, we're making some good progress. I went and got some bolts, got all the holes lined up, so we look good. I had to lengthen this ground wire right here so I could reach around to this side. You'll see later the bolt doesn't go flush on this side, so I have to run it over to this side. No problem there. And one other thing is I'm gonna use some gasket maker just along this surface so that we have a nice seal. And I'm just gonna take some Honda Bond. This is a really good gasket maker, and put some on the back of this carburetor just so that we make sure we don't have any air leaks. So that's how it looks, and we're just gonna get this slapped on quick. Forget which bolt I'm using. I think it's this one. Due to some camera difficulties, I wasn't able to film all of that, but as you can see, we got it on and it fits good. Hooked up the gas. That's like the bolt that is holding it on. Because it's so close to the intake, I wasn't able to run it all the way in, so I stuck a washer there, and then it's kind of just holding it on. But yeah, that's how we're looking. I think we're about ready to try to start this thing. Hopefully this air cleaner isn't too restrictive, but we'll put the choke all the way on, turn the fuel on. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. This is a new throttle cable too, so it's really snappy, which is nice. Yeah, let's see if this thing fires up. This air cleaner might be too restrictive. I'm just gonna pop that off. We'll try this again. Also need to kind of tune it. Let's see. Where's the screwdriver? Fuel is on. Let's see. Keeps on dying. I think we gotta adjust the air mixture screw. So I gotta find a small screwdriver to do that quick. Okay, I just set it to 1.5 out. So let's see how that does. We had it pretty close for a second. Not sure what the issue is. It's running good, but it's just like dying when I don't give it gas. So I'm not sure. Some type of air cleaner on there to make it a little bit more restrictive and run a little bit more rich. Let's see. Let's try that. Well, not sure why it's doing that, but I'm gonna keep on trying to problem solve this, and then I'll bring you guys back once I figure it out. Found the problem, massive air leak. So we're gonna have to pull this back off and just get it tighter on there. It's just not clamping good enough right there. So I just went and bought some gasket maker, just like the paper. And I'm thinking what I'll do is kind of stamp it on here and make a template, and then use that along with, there's supposed to be a rubber O-ring right here, and of course I lost it. So I went and bought an O-ring, but it was way too big, so I have to cut a little slit in it. And I don't know if it's leaking there or where, but what I'm gonna do is just try to make a template, and hopefully with both of these things we'll be able to get something that works. So as you can see, that's kind of making a template, so I'm just going to keep on working that and then get that cut out. Then we'll get this back on and hopefully have no air leak. Got the new gasket on. Put a bunch of gasket maker on this to seal it up. Let's just get this put on quick. So I'm just gonna tighten this down quick and then probably let it sit for about an hour just so that it can kind of harden up a little bit, and then we will try to start this thing up. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this thing has no more air leaks. Let it sit overnight. Should be all sealed up. Turn the gas on. Let's see what happens. Might have to adjust some things. Is it still leaking? take it out front and test it out. Well guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As you can see, this $20 eBay carburetor works perfectly fine. A few modifications that you got to make. You might run into the throttle cable being a little bit too long. As you can see, I had to remove the thing completely from there. I forgot to show you guys that earlier, but got to make a few modifications, but it does work and the bike seems to run really good. So we ran into a few problems with having an air leak, but got it figured out and the bike is back on the road. So thanks for watching guys. Make sure you're subscribed. We do lots of mopeds and scooters on this channel. So until next time, I will see you guys later.